Hello, my name is Josiah Cardenas, and I will be doing the discussion about the Tet Offensive in Saigon during the Vietnam War. And for the contrast to see, there's a great contrast that you can see in the video, in both videos, of how the ambassador and the general talk about the Tet Offensive versus how the soldiers themselves feel about the offensive itself. And according to the ambassador, I want to start off first with the ambassador, what he said. The ambassador discussed it as he kind of tried to paint it as something heroic that he himself took the life of a Viet Cong member. You can kind of see that he didn't take it really like that rough, if that makes sense. But that like you can kind of see it's like he's describing it as more like a military victory. And the same thing can be said about the general. He's describing it as self-defense, that he's saying that the Viet Cong knew that the Tet offensive, that it was going to be during a time where they were going to be celebrating a holiday, and that the Viet Cong took advantage of that and decided to do a sneak attack against them. Which I am guessing is to answer the second video, because the second video describes that particular, the U.S. Embassy in Saigon, which was supposed to be at the center of the city, was supposed to be the most well-protected, and the Viet Cong broke in and took control of that part of the city. So I'm guessing that the general was trying to address that, and was trying to say that the Viet Cong that this was the result of a sneak attack, and that they were going to drive away the enemy as soon as possible. But I believe that the reactions of the soldiers kind of say it all. You can clearly see that in the soldiers' eyes, that there's a certain fear that they're not going to come back home. For instance, in the second video, the first soldier that they interview, he talks about that he should be at college reading books, not over there in the war. And I believe that many of his other comrades must have felt the same way. He talks about that he lost friends as well. The second soldier talks about how it's the worst part is not knowing where the enemy is at. That's the worst part. And as for how the images and the videos could change like the opinions on the war, I believe that overall it's the carnage that's happening in the videos. You can clearly see all the deaths that are happening. Of all the deaths though that I saw one U.S. soldier, I believe, in the first video that was killed. The rest what I saw were mostly Viet Congs and civilians. So you can kind of, just from looking at that, like there's just one instance that I can clearly remember as far as a civilian dead in their car in the first video. And you can also see that a video of a hospital, how several civilians are being hospitalized because of all the fighting that is taking place in Saigon. So honestly, it's the carnage itself, I believe, the video of the carnage that is occurring there and then the battle would be the most likely to change the opinions, especially seeing that it's not just the U.S. military that's being killed, it's also civilians are also being unnecessarily killed as well. So if anything were to change the opinions, I believe that those would heavily impact those opinions. But that's all I'm going to say. So with that, I'm done.